It's just a regular Monday here in Cape Coast. The beach is bustling with fishermen and boat makers, market sellers and traders. Today, I'm visiting Cape Coast Castle here on the southern Atlantic coast of Ghana. There are still the remains of over 30 slave forts, such as this one, dotted along the coastline of this country. This particular structure was first established by the Portuguese in 1555. And just around this corner is what is known as the Door of No Return. Just like the castle, it reflects a truly horrific period of human history. Millions of enslaved Africans were once forced through doors just like this to begin a life of immense hardship in the Americas. It's a black arched doorway about 4 meters tall. It's a double door. The original door was much smaller. The walls of the castle are painted white, but they're a bit worn. It's always a gut-wrenching experience to see a place like this with your own eyes. And for Black people from the US like me, or indeed from many other parts of the world, visiting such places can take on a whole new level of significance while reaffirming an historical connection to this incredible culture.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Aquaba, welcome. Thank you all for coming to the documentary debut for the return. I hope everyone enjoyed the documentary. The Return. My name is Morris Biggers. I was one of the featured speakers tonight. I really enjoyed. So we're going to start the panel discussion now, and it's going to be moderated by our host, the great Nia Weeks, attorney at law, Esquire.
So I want to start off, Ashley, because so many of us living in the diaspora had so many stories about what it meant to come to Africa. Like there was no distinction between Ghana and anywhere else, but Africa. And we didn't have good stories when we were growing up. So why do you think that we chose to come to Africa to live? Let's start there.
I think we chose, so I wanna always highlight the evolution right now. It's 2024, we're in a new year, turning over a new leaf. So I think we chose to come to Africa because we wanted to be here. I think we wanted to be in a communal space where we woke up and people looked like us. And we can go to school, we can go to work without the veracity of necessarily someone with a prejudiced mindset kind of like overseeing us, lack of a better word. I also think that we're tired and we want to rest. I think we want to experience life without being encumbered by this like dark cloud of like white racism, to be honest. And I hate to like couch our story in racism, but I think that for Black people that descend from enslaved Africans that live in the Americas, we just really yearn to be in a majority space. And I don't think it's a yearning to be in a majority space, I think it's just a yearning for the ability to thrive without this underlying systemic oppressive force kind of holding you back, or this glass ceiling. And then some of us just, we want heat, so we came to Ghana, you know.
I'm William, I'm from the foreign ministry. Dr.Ashley is my very good friend. My accent obviously gives me away that I'm not a returning, but...
Accent is only a representation of where you schooled. That's what I always say. It's only a representation of where you schooled.
I'm a native of Ghana, but I wanted to make a comment with regard to the idea of maybe indigenous Ghanaians being tone deaf to the concept of...
For me, being a Ghanaian who was born in Ghana, but left at age 2, and was raised with Ghanaian parents who did their best to raise us understanding being a Ghanaian. And living 15 minutes from the New York State border, I had a lot of interaction with Black people in Canada who are of Caribbean descent, and Black people in Canada who are descendants of the enslaved people who escaped through the Underground Railroad. As a matter of fact, I grew up in the city that Harriet Tubman lived in when she came across into Canada. So I have a unique understanding of all sides of the conversation. And one of the things that I can say, because I understand what you're saying and I also understand what he's saying, I think that the core thing is a Black person living in Africa is not thinking, I'm comparing myself to where Black people are there. They're thinking, my leaders aren't doing what they're supposed to do. They don't understand that their leaders are under this institutionalized system that is controlling everything. They just see, I need to pay for my family, I need to do this. And so they see the West as paradise because media has also trained them to believe that the West is paradise. The same way that media has trained the West to think that Africa is horrible, they're trained to believe the West is paradise. So it becomes this cycle of, I need to go there to succeed. You get there and you're like, oh shit, this is what it is? I had no idea. There was a woman from Somalia who moved to Canada, and this article she wrote went viral, and it was, I didn't know I was Black until I moved to Canada. Because growing up in Somalia, she was just another Somalian girl until she got to Canada. All of a sudden, she's being referred to as Black, 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 and she was like, whoa, what is this?
So what made our grandparents realize that Africa was okay is that our parents' children turned out all right. Oh, them babies good, they doing good at school. That African stuff must be working. Oh, they traveling, they going out.
Important as we come back. You know, I've been able to have the opportunity to bring my parents who theoretically were these Pan-African nationalists, actually bring them here to Ghana.
I love you. I appreciate you. Can't wait to see what we're able to build.
Yes.
Put this moving forward. So thank you all. Have an amazing evening.
Thank you.
Great job.